Proceed to make the motifs. Start by crocheting the corresponding number of motifs. Once done, sew them together. Then, attach them to the inner edge. Let's begin with the motifs. For each individual motif, we'll use the adjustable magic ring. Crochet in a counterclockwise direction around the ring. There are quite a few new stitch techniques involved. The pattern will clearly mark these. I won't go through each one individually. Now, let me demonstrate the specific crochet method. Begin with the adjustable magic ring. After that, make 3 chains as the beginning chain. Then, insert your hook into the ring and make 11 double crochets. Once finished, secure the ring. Lastly, join with a slip stitch to the beginning chain. Pull tight. Cut the yarn. The first round is complete. Move on to crochet the second round. Join the yarn to the beginning chain of the previous round. Make 3 chains as the beginning chain. Then, make 1 double crochet into the stitch on the left. Followed by 2 chains. Pick up the same stitch and the stitch on the left side. Make a double crochet decrease DC2 tog for short. Make an incomplete double crochet into each of the 2 stitches. 1, 2. After completing, you'll have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and draw through all loops in one motion. Finish the double crochet decrease. Continue with 2 chains. Pick up the second stitch of the previous DC2 tog and the stitch on the left side. Work another DC2 tog. Once done, make 2 chains again. Next, pick up the second stitch of the previous DC2 tog and the stitch on the left side. To make a DC2 tog, chain 2 between each DC2 tog. Keep crocheting. For the second stitch of the last DC2 tog, insert into the beginning chain of previous round, where you slip stitched into previously. After finishing, make another 2 chains. Then, pick up the double crochet to the left of the beginning chain. Join with a slip stitch. Pull tight. Cut the yarn. Round 2 is complete. Now, work on round 3. Join the yarn in any chain space from the previous round. Make 3 chains as the beginning chain. Make 3 double crochets in the same stitch. Then, release the loop from the third chain of the beginning chain. Insert the hook into these 2 strands. Draw the released loop through. The fabric will puff forward. Secure with 1 chain. It's like making a DC4 popcorn here. But because we started with a chain, this popcorn is a bit unusual. Make 3 chains. For the next popcorn, pick up chain spaces and make a DC4 popcorn. First, make 4 double crochets. Then, insert the hook into the first stitch. Draw the remaining loop through. Secure again with 1 chain. Complete the DC4 popcorn. Chain 3. Pick up chain spaces 1 by 1. Make DC4 popcorn into each. Chain 3 in between. Keep crocheting. Lastly, at the beginning chain of the first popcorn, insert the hook and join with a slip stitch. Tighten when finished. Cut the yarn. Round 3 is complete. Move on to round 4. Join the yarn anywhere in a chain space. Start with 3 chains. Then make a treble crochets in the next space. Yarn over twice. Insert the hook. Yarn over and pull through. There are 4 loops on the hook. Yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops. Repeat this 3 times. Once. Twice. 3 times. Complete the treble crochet. For the DC4 popcorn, pick up the chain right above it. Make 1 treble crochet there. Then pick up the chain space on the left side. Make 1 treble crochet, 1 double crochet and 1 chain. Directly below, pick up the DC2 tog from round 2. Make 1 double crochet. Wrap the chain from last round as well. When finished, the height should match the neighboring stitches. After completing, continue with 1 chain, then return to the same chain space. Make 1 double crochet. Make 1 treble crochet. Continue picking the DC4 popcorn. Make 1 treble crochet. Treat the stitches from the treble crochet to the left of the previous popcorn to the treble crochet in this popcorn as a group. Continue working in this group. For specifics, refer to the pattern. When you encounter a beginning chain, insert the hook into the double crochet next to it. Keep crocheting. Reach the beginning chain space. Make 1 treble crochet. Make 1 double crochet. Make 1 chain. Into the stitch below, make 1 double crochet. Then, make another chain. Lastly, join with a slip stitch at the beginning chain. Pull tight to secure. Cut the yarn. Round 4 is complete. Now, work on round 5. You need to pick up the double crochet made on DC2 tog from the wrong side. Find the corresponding stitch. Insert the hook through these 2 strands on the back. Join the yarn. Chain 1 to start. Make 1 single crochet. Make 4 chains. For the double crochet made on DC2 tog, insert into the 2 strands from the back. Make a single crochet correspondingly. Chain 4 in between. Continue crocheting. Finish with a slip stitch into the first single crochet. Pull tight. Don't cut the yarn yet. Round 5 is now complete. Move on to round 6. Start by picking up the chain spaces to the left. Make an untightened slip stitch. Then make 3 chains as your beginning chain. In the same chain space, make 1 double crochet, one chain, and 2 double crochets. Now, make 1 chain. Continue by making double crochets and chains into the chain spaces accordingly. Refer to the pattern for specific stitch instructions. Keep crocheting. Finish by slip stitching into the beginning chain. Give a gentle tug to tighten. Do not cut the yarn. Round 6 is complete. Proceed to round 7. Stretch the loop on your hook. Remove the hook from the loop. Insert the hook into the chain space on the right side. Draw the released loop through. Chain 3 as the beginning chain. Then make 2 double crochets in the same chain space. Into the following chain space, make 3 double crochets. On the second double crochets of the 3, secure it with round 4 below. Start with 1 double crochet. Then, locate the 4th round below. Find the treble crochet made on the DC4 popcorn. Insert your hook from the back into the 2 strands on top. Then, insert the hook into the chain space at the same time. Make 1 double crochet. Then work into the chain space. Continue with 1 more double crochet. For the following chain space, make 3 double crochets. Next, make 3 double crochets in the following chain space. Remember to attach the second stitch to round 4. Start with 1 double crochet. Then locate the treble crochet made on the DC4 popcorn. Insert your hook from the back and pick up the 2 strands. Then, insert the hook into the chain space to make 1 double crochet. Once done, return to the chain space, and make another double crochet. For the following chain spaces, make 3 double crochets into each. For the chain spaces that don't need to be attached to lower round, the following one would need to be attached to round 4 by the middle double crochet. Please refer to the previous demonstration. Go ahead and crochet according to the pattern. Finish by slip stitching into the beginning chain. Pull tight to secure. Cut the yarn. The 7th round is now complete. Continue with the 8th round. For this round, you'll need 2 colors. As before, I'll call the first color as color 1, and the second color will be color 2. Pick up color 1, join it to the beginning chain of the previous round. Then make 2 chains as your beginning chain. Into the next stitches, make 4 half double crochets across. Follow that with 4 double crochets. While crocheting, make sure to weave in color 2 as you go. Meanwhile, change colors at the 4th stitch. Let's crochet until the stitch before the change. Now, at the corresponding stitch, make an incomplete double crochet. Then, take up color 2. Stretch the yarn to flat. Yarn over and pull the yarn through. That completes the double crochet, and you've successfully changed colors. After that, skip 2 stitches to the left. Make a DC2 bobble in the next stitch. First, make 2 incomplete double crochets. As you work, weave in color 1 neatly. Once done, yarn over and draw through all loops on your hook. That completes the DC2 bobble. Then, chain 2. In the same spot, make a TR2 bobble. Begin with an incomplete treble crochet. Yarn over twice. Insert the hook. Yarn over and pull through. Then yarn over and draw through the first 2 loops on the hook. Repeat this process twice. At this point, there should be 2 loops left on your hook. This is an incomplete treble crochet. Make another incomplete treble crochet. Lastly, yarn over and draw through all loops on the hook. That completes the TR2 bobble. Chain 2. In the same stitch, work another TR2 bobble. Chain 2. Make another DC2 bobble. It's time to change colors here. First, make 2 incomplete double crochets. Now, pick up color 1. Stretch the yarn to flat. Yarn over and draw through in one motion. That completes the DC2 bobble. The color change is complete at the same time. I'll refer to the section worked with color 2 as a corner. Continue crocheting the side. Skip 2 stitches to the left. Start from the next stitch. Make 4 double crochets correspondingly. Remember to weave in color 2 as you go. Then make 5 half double crochets. And 4 more double crochets. On the 4th stitch, switch back to color 2. The side is now finished. Next, skip 2 stitches and make a corner. Begin with a DC2 bobble. Chain 2. Then, work into the same space, make another TR2 bobble. Chain 2 again. Follow with a TR2 bobble. Chain 2. Make a DC2 bobble. And change colors. Once done, the corner is now finished. Continue crocheting the side and corner as before. Join with a slip stitch at the beginning chain. Pull tight to secure. Do not cut the yarn. For color 2, leave a long tail and cut it off. Round 8 is now complete. Move on to round 9. Start with a chain of 2 as your beginning chain. Work into each stitch along the way. Follow the pattern to make the corresponding number of half double crochets and double crochets. At the corner position, pick up the DC2 bobble. Make 1 double crochet. Then, pick up the chain space and make 2 double crochets. Next, into the adjacent TR2 bobble, make 1 double crochet. In the following chain space, make 2 double crochets. Two chains and 2 double crochets. Into the adjacent T are 2 bobble. Make 1 double crochet. Then, pick up the chain space and make 2 double crochets. Again, into the adjacent DC2 bobble, make 1 double crochet. At this point, you've completed the corner area. For the upcoming corners, follow this same technique. Along the side, make corresponding half double crochets and double crochets. Please refer to the pattern to finish the remaining round. Join with a slip stitch at the beginning chain. Tighten the yarn gently. Do not cut the yarn. The 9th round is now complete. Proceed to crochet the 10th round. Start by making 1 chain as a beginning chain. Into the same stitch, make 1 single crochet. Moving down, pick up each stitch and make a corresponding single crochet. Into the chain spaces, make 3 single crochets. Continue this method all the way down. Finish crocheting this round. Join with a slip stitch to the first single crochet. Give the yarn a gentle tug to tighten. Cut the yarn. The 10th round is now completed. And just like that, 1 motif is complete. Tuck in all yarn ends to the wrong side of the fabric. Follow the same steps. Keep crocheting until you finish all motifs. That concludes the instructions for the motifs. Next, we'll discuss how to sew them together. Begin by sewing motifs together. Then, attach them to the inner edge. First, arrange the motifs according to the finished product's appearance. Then sew along the sides and corners one by one. Each motif is sewn along one side. Let me demonstrate the sewing technique. For this demonstration, I'll use a swatch. We'll use the whip stitch method to join the motifs. First, take some yarn for sewing. To make it easier to see, I'll use a different color for the demo. In actual case, you'd use the same color as the last round of each motif. Take a length of yarn, about 3 to 4 times the length of the seam. Thread the yarn onto your sewing needle. Now, pick up 2 motifs. Align them with their wrong sides together. Make sure the sides you need to sew are facing up. Start sewing. Locate the corner where there are 3 single crochets. Insert the needle into the middle stitch of those 3. On the back motif, insert into the corresponding single crochet. Pull the yarn through both stitches. Leave a short tail of yarn. To secure the seam, sew an extra stitch at the beginning position. Moving down, pick up stitches from both motifs, sewing from front to back. As you sew, tuck the reserved yarn tail and hide. Continue all the way down to the end of that side. At the center stitch of the 3 single crochet at the corner. Secure it by sewing an extra time at the last stitch. Lastly, hide the yarn tail on the wrong side. Repeat this process to hide a few more stitches securely. And there you have it, one side of the motifs are sewn together. Follow the same method for the rest. Sew the corresponding motif sides together. Once all done, you'll have a square shape. Afterward, attach it to the inner edge. Let me demonstrate with a swatch. First, position everything correctly. Here, mark the corner of the inner edge and the corner of the motif. Using thread or a stitch marker. Then locate the central stitch. Mark it with the center of the motif. Then, roughly mark a few points on both sides. Continue with whip stitch to sew. Pick up the stitches from the inner edge. Match them with the motif stitches for sewing. When you encounter a seam on the motif, you can sew through the center of the seam, or insert your hook at the stitches of either side of the corner. If the stitch counts do not match on both sides. For the side that has more stitches, sew an extra stitch with the side that has fewer stitches. Sew for the side with more stitches. Pick up 2 stitches and match them with 1 stitch on the side with fewer stitches to sew. That adjusts by 1 stitch. Adjust as needed when sewing. You can start from a corner here and sew around in a circle. Since the sewing area is quite large, use a meter of yarn to begin with. When the yarn isn't enough, take the yarn to the wrong side of the fabric. Tie a square knot to join the new yarn. Then, for all the remaining yarn tails and knots, hide them on the wrong side of the fabric. Once everything is sewn, tuck them inside the fabric. The sewing technique was demonstrated earlier. Now, go ahead and attach the motifs to the inner edge. That concludes the motif section. Move on to crochet the outer edge. Crochet around the motifs in a circle. You'll be using new stitches like the front post treble crochet, FPTR for short, the back post single crochet, BPSC for short, and the TR5 popcorn. Let me demonstrate. Start by crocheting the first round. For this, I'll use this small sample as an example. Join the yarn at any corner space. Insert the hook into the chain space. Then, make 3 chains as your beginning chain. Chain 4. In the same space, make 1 double crochet. One chain. 1 double crochet. Then 4 chains and 1 double crochet. Continue with 4 chains. Skip over 6 double crochets to the left. In the next stitch, make a front post treble crochet. Yarn over twice. Insert the hook from the right side of the corresponding stitch. Come out on the left side. Then make it according to the treble crochet as instructed. Complete the front post treble crochet, then chain 6. In the same spot, make another front post treble crochet. I consider these 2 front post treble crochets and the chains between them as one FPTR group. Continue with 4 chains. Skip over 9 double crochets to the left. In the next stitch, work the FPTR group. Start with a front post treble crochet. Follow with 6 chains. Again, in the same stitch, make another front post treble crochet. Finish the FPTR group. After that, make 4 chains. Skip 8 stitches below. Leave the chains unworked. Pick up where the motif connections are. Here, roughly find the corresponding position in this round. Insert the hook and make the FPTR group. Follow the pattern from here on. Pick up the approximate position in the second to last round of the motif, or the connection point. To make the FPTR group, between each FPTR group, chain 4. Keep crocheting. When you reach the next corner, use the same method as that for the first corner. Into the chain space, make 1 double crochet, 4 chains, 1 double crochet, 1 chain, 1 double crochet, 4 chains, and 1 double crochet. Corner is complete. For the following side, work in the same manner as the previous side. For the corners ahead, follow the same technique here. You can also refer to the pattern for specifics. Continue crocheting until the remaining section is complete. Finish the last side. Join with a slip stitch at the beginning chain. Pull tight. Cut the yarn. Round 1 is complete. For the upcoming round 2, always work into the chain spaces with the corresponding stitches when you encounter the chain spaces between the FPTR group. Insert the hook under the single crochet of the motif below. At the same time, wrap around the chain from the previous round. For round 3, make untightened slip stitches in the single crochets. In all other stitches, make a single crochet into each. In round 4, insert into the corresponding stitches of the previous round and crochet. When you encounter an untightened slip stitch, pick up its braid. For the remaining stitches, insert the hook into the back loops. At corners, work into the entire stitch. The stitch techniques for the following rounds are similar. They've been demonstrated before. Refer to the pattern to complete these rounds. Once done, proceed to crochet round 5. Start by inserting the hook into the center chain space at the corner to join the yarn. Make 1 chain as a beginning chain. Make 3 single crochets in the same stitch. Continue to the next chain space and make an untightened slip stitch. Then make 4 chains. Make a TR5 popcorn in the same spot. First, make 5 treble crochets. Then release the loop. Insert the hook into the first stitch of those 5 treble crochets. Draw the released loop through. The fabric will puff forward. Secure with 1 chain. Complete the TR5 popcorn. Then make 4 chains. Make an untightened slip stitch into the next stitch below. I consider the stitches made in this chain space as a popcorn group. Skip the next double crochet. Make a back post single crochet into the next stitch. Insert the hook from behind into the right side of the adjacent stitch. Come out through the left side. You've picked up the corresponding stitch to the back. Yarn over and draw it through. Yarn over and draw through all loops on the hook. Finish the back post single crochet. Continue with another back post single crochet. Exit through the right side of the corresponding stitch. Insert into the left side. Then make as for a regular single crochet. Complete the back post single crochet. Make back post single crochet in each corresponding stitch all the way until just before the next treble crochet. When you reach the corresponding spot, skip the treble crochet. Now, make a popcorn group into the chain space. That means making one untightened slip stitch. 4 chains. 1 tr 5 popcorn. Four chains. And 1 untightened slip stitch. Complete the popcorn group. Skip the following treble crochets. Instead, make popcorn group into the chain spaces in between. In all other stitches, make back post single crochets correspondingly. In the chain space at the corner, make 3 single crochets. Continue this process, finish crocheting this round. Join with a slip stitch to the first single crochet. Then, cut the yarn. Tuck in the yarn ends to the wrong side. That concludes the instructions for round 5. And that finishes the outer edge. Up to this point, we've covered the main body of this blanket. If the completed main part isn't quite flat, you can press it with an iron on the wrong side. Next, we'll make and attach the decorations. They consist of flower decorations and pattern decorations. Start by crocheting and attaching the flower decorations. For the flowers, use the magic ring method. Begin by making the magic ring. Then, make 3 chains as the beginning chain. Chain 1. Now, alternate making 1 double crochet and 1 chain into the ring. Repeat this 5 times. When done, secure the ring. Slip stitch into the beginning chain. Give it a gentle tug to tighten. There's no need to cut the yarn. Take care of the ends. Set the yarn tail aside. The first round is now complete. Move on to the second round. Join the yarn in the chain space from the previous round. Make 2 chains. In the same chain space, make 3 half double crochets. Then, chain 2. Slip stitch into the next chain space. Gently pull to tighten. I consider the stitches made in this chain space as a small petal. Continue by picking up the adjacent chain space. Make a slip stitch. Don't tighten this slip stitch. Then make a small petal. That means working 2 chains. 3 half double crochets. Two chains. And 1 slip stitch. That completes a small petal. Then, pick up the corresponding chain spaces, and make the small petals accordingly. Always make an untightened slip stitch before each small petal. You can refer to the pattern for specifics. Keep crocheting. After completing the last small petal, in the chain space, where the small petal began, make a slip stitch. Now, stretch the loop. Leave a bit of tail and cut the yarn. Bring the yarn tail to the wrong side. Weave the ends into the fabric to secure them. The second round is now complete. Proceed to the third round. For this round, work with the yarn from the first round. Insert the hook as you would for a back post stitch. Insert into the beginning chain. Lift the chain to the back. Yarn over and pull the yarn through. Make 1 chain as your beginning chain. Make a back post single crochet correspondingly. Follow that with 2 chains. Work into the next double crochet from the first round. Make a back post single crochet. Followed by 2 chains. Continue crocheting. Finish by slip stitching into the first back post single crochet. Give a gentle tug to tighten. Do not cut the yarn. The third round is now complete. Move on to the fourth round. Start with 1 chain. Make a single crochet into the corresponding stitch below. Then, into the next adjacent space, make 1/2 double crochet, 3 double crochets, and 1/2 double crochet. Continue making single crochet into the back post single crochet. Into the chain space, make 1/2 double crochet, 1 double crochets and 1/2 double crochet. Continue in this manner. Keep crocheting. Lastly, slip stitch into the beginning single crochet. Pull tight. Leave a yarn tail before cutting the yarn. Start by making one chain to secure. Then, leave approximately 15 centimeters. Cut the yarn. Give it a gentle tug to tighten. Tuck in the remaining yarn ends into the fabric. Keep the last yarn end. It will be used for sewing later. And there you have it, a flower crocheted. Follow the same steps to crochet the corresponding number of flowers. Once completed, attach them. Here, we'll attach them to the inner edge, between the leaves. The exact position can be adjusted according to your preference. Now, I'll demonstrate with a swatch how it's done. Thread the reserved yarn onto a yarn needle. Then, sew through a few stitches on the wrong side of the first round. There's no specific sewing technique required. Just make sure it's secure. First, pass the yarn through the first round. After that, hide the yarn to the wrong side. As you do, tie a knot to secure it in place. You can hide a few extra stitches for extra security. And there you have it, one flower attached. For the remaining flowers, use the same method. Attach them to their corresponding positions. That concludes the flower section. Lastly, we'll make and attach the pattern decorations. It consists of 2 rabbits' facial features, balloon strings, flower branches, and straps. Let's start with the facial features. The features for the two rabbits are slightly different in size, but the making process is the same. I'll demonstrate the larger rabbit's features first, beginning with the ears, the eyes, the blush, and the mouth. First, crochet them separately, then, attach them once. Let's start with the ears. Begin with the foundation chain. Then crochet along that chain for 1 row. Refer to the pattern to chain the corresponding number of stitches. After that, make 3 beginning chains. Now, turn back. Counting from the right, start on the 5th chain. Pick up 1 strand on the top of the chain. Make 1 double crochet. For the following stitches, pick up 1 strand on the top of the chain. Make 1 double crochet into each. When you reach the last chain, continue with 3 chains. Then, pick up the last chain. Finish with a slip stitch. Give it a gentle tug to tighten. Leave a tail of about 15 centimeters. Cut the yarn. There are 2 ears in total. Just repeat the same process for the second ear. Moving on to the eyes. Take out the corresponding yarn. Start with a chain of 5. After completing, pick up the strand on top of the first chain. Make a slip stitch. Give it a slight tug to tighten. Now, cut the yarn. Leave a longer tail here. One eye is complete. Repeat the same steps for the other eye. Now, let's crochet the blush. Begin with a chain of 5 chains. Then, make a chain 1 to start. Pick up the second chain from right to left. Catch 1 strand on top. Make a single crochet. For the adjacent one, again pick up 1 strand. Make 1 half double crochet. Then, 1 double crochet. Follow with a half double crochet. In the last chain, make 3 single crochets. Now, turn back. Pick up the stitches along this side. Start from the adjacent half double crochet. Pick up 2 strands of the chain. Make a half double crochet. As you go, be mindful to hide the yarn ends. Continue with another double crochet. Make a half double crochet. At the last chain, pick up 2 strands and make 2 single crochets. Then, slip stitch into the first single crochet. It's okay either to tighten the slip stitch or not here. Lastly, leave a 15 cm tail before cutting the yarn. And there you have your blush completed. Make another blush and set it aside for later use. Now, let's move on to the mouth. The mouth consists of the nose and the lip line. Start with the mouth. Begin with the magic ring. Make 3 chains as the beginning chain. Then, pick up the ring and make 11 double crochets. After that, secure the round by pulling tight. Slip stitch into the beginning chain. Give it a gentle tug to tighten. Do not cut the yarn. The first round is now complete. Continue on to the second round. Start with 2 chains as the beginning chain. In the same stitch, make a half double crochet. Pick up the next stitch and make a half double crochet increase, HDC 2 in 1 for short. That means working 2 half double crochets in 1 stitch. 1, 2. Finish the half double crochet increase. Continue with half double crochet increases in each following stitch. Slip stitch into the beginning chain. Tighten the yarn. Leave a 20 cm yarn tail before cutting the yarn. The mouth is now complete. Move on to crochet the nose. Begin with the magic ring. Then make 2 chains as the beginning chain. Pick up the ring and make 2 double crochets. Follow that with 2 chains. Next, pick up ring and make a slip stitch. You can either tighten or not. Secure the ring by pulling the yarn tight. Leave about 10 centimeters of yarn tail before cutting the yarn. The nose is now finished. Next, attach the nose on the top of the mouth. After that, embroider the lip line. Flip the nose so the wrong side is facing outwards. That's the side with vaguer texture. Do the same for the mouth, turning its wrong side out. Put the nose on the top of the non-tail side. Using the reserved long yarn tail. Sew along the sides with a few stitches. There's no specific technique, just secure it in place. Then, weave the yarn tail to the back. Hook the other tail to the wrong side. Tuck each tail into the fabric. Feel free to weave in extra stitches for security. Trim any remaining tails, or you can leave them on the side with hidden tails. Follow the same process for the other tail. For the beginning yarn tail from the mouth, weave it in on the back. And there, the nose is attached. Use the same color yarn as the nose. Cut a long yarn tail. Thread it onto a yarn needle. Then, insert the needle from behind into the bottom of the nose. Leave some tail. Now, go through the gap directly below, between the stitches of the first round. Then, move into 1 to 2 stitches on either side along the straight line. Embroider diagonally. And there, the lip line is embroidered. Lastly, tie off the yarn. Trim or leave the tail on the back. Now, the complete mouth is done. Move on to attach it. Refer to the finished product first. Position the facial features according to the pattern. Here, the wrong side of the fabric are facing outwards. Start by attaching the mouth. I'll demonstrate the sewing method using this swatch. Refer to the finished product for the exact position. Or adjust according to your preference. The placement here is arbitrary. Thread the reserved yarn through the sewing needle. Then sew a few stitches between the fabric and the main body. There's no specific technique required, just make sure it's secure. In the end, tuck the thread to the back of the work. Remember to knot as you go for extra security. The mouth attachment is complete. Next, using the same method, attach the blush on either side of the mouth. Make sure the blush is placed horizontally, with the wrong side of the fabric facing out. Finish this step first. Then, attach the eyes above once done. Let me demonstrate the process. Here, I'll use a swatch. Thread the longer yarn tail through the needle. Put the wrong side of the eye facing out. Put the braided side facing the main body. Continue sewing together. Then, bring the thread to the back. Do the same with the other yarn tail. Tie the two ends together to secure them. Then tuck them inside the fabric. Go ahead and finish this step. For the other eye, follow the same steps. Lastly, attach the ears in the same manner, according to the finished look or your preference. Place them along the pattern's position. Then, sew them in place along the sides. Tuck the yarn end to the back of the fabric. Make sure the wrong side of the ear fabric faces outward. Complete this step. That concludes the facial features for the big rabbit. Now, let's move on to the little rabbit's features. Beginning with the ears. Begin with the foundation chain as well. Make a row along the foundation chain. But here, use half double crochets instead. Follow the pattern to crochet it neatly. When done, leave a 20 cm tail for sewing. Next, crochet the eyes. The technique is identical to the big rabbit's eyes. Crochet them accordingly. After that, create the blush. Start with the foundation chain as usual. Then, make a round around the foundation chain. The technique is the same as the big rabbit's blush. Just note the stitch type and count might vary slightly. Refer to the pattern to finish it. Remember to leave a 15 cm tail for sewing. Now, let's talk about the mouth. It's identical to the big rabbit's mouth. Follow the previous instructions to complete it. Once everything is done, refer to the finished product, or, according to your preference, and sew the facial features in their corresponding positions. Note that all the fabrics here are with the wrong side facing out. The texture should match that of the big rabbit's fabric. Finish this part accordingly. That concludes the explanation of the little rabbit's facial features. Moving on to the balloon string. Start by crocheting the required length of chains. Then, attach it in place. Both rabbits have strings. First, crochet 2 strings according to the pattern. When you finish, stretch loop. And simply cut the yarn. Attach it once completed. For the string on the big rabbit, start at the pattern position down here. Wrap it around once, leaving some excess string at the bottom. Then, range it upwards along the finished product's appearance. During this, you can use glue at a few points. To secure it in place. Afterward, pass the string through the corresponding pattern to the back. Exit and re-enter through the corresponding spots. Leave the remaining part at the back. To ensure security, you can take a yarn tail of the same color. Then follow the string. And roughly sew a few stitches to keep it in place. When sewing, tuck the yarn ends into the fabric. Finish this step. And we'll move on to the little rabbit string. Position it according to the finished product's look. Thread the string through the corresponding spots. Leave the excess part above behind the main body. The reserved part below should be in front. Then, using the matching yarn, sew roughly a few stitches. Complete this step. That concludes the balloon string tutorial. Next, let's talk about the flower branch. It consists of flowers, stems, and leaves. The flower is identical to the ones attached on the inner edge. The stem is made identically to the balloon string. Crochet the corresponding length of chains. The leaf technique is similar to the blush, except for slightly different stitches. Refer to the pattern to finish it. Lastly, refer to the finished product for the desired look. Attach it in the corresponding position. When attaching the leaves, place them with the right side facing up. While positioning, you can use glue first to secure a few points temporarily. Then, reinforce with a few stitches using the corresponding yarn. That concludes the flower branch tutorial. Now, let's move on to making the straps. Let's crochet first. The technique is similar to how we made the ears, except for different stitches. Follow the pattern to finish it. After completing, remember to leave a 20 cm tail for sewing. When attaching, position the foundation chain towards the upper left. Then, align it according to the finished product's appearance. Using the reserved yarn, sew a few stitches on the back to secure it. Once done, attach a button at the bottom end. Sew through the buttonholes 1 or 2 times. Tuck the remaining thread to the back. Complete this step. And that concludes the straps. So, we've covered all the decorative elements. Up to this point, we've covered the entire blanket making process. If there are any questions during the process, don't hesitate to reach us via our website. Susan's Family, supporting your handwork experience, sharing the joy of life. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.